You know, there's a point in every Greek career when the clock just starts to tick a little louder, when those explosive physical gifts that got you to the top, well, they start to fade. For most people, that's the beginning of the end. But for a select few, it's the beginning of a total transformation. It's that moment they realize the only way to beat Father Time is to stop trying to outrun him and start trying to outthink him. Today, we're going to break down the system behind one of the greatest examples of longevity in modern history, the LeBron Framework. This one idea right here is the key to absolutely everything. It's a shift from just pure muscle to intellectual strategy, from relying on raw talent to architecting endurance. It's this core belief that your career doesn't have to be some short, violent flame. It can be a sustained, controlled burn, getting smarter and more efficient as the years go by. And look, this isn't just about sports. It's really a blueprint for anyone looking to build a career that truly lasts. Okay, let's set the scene. I want you to picture this. Oracle Arena, Game 7 of the NBA Finals. The score is tied up 89-89. There are less than 2 minutes left on the clock. The entire season, the hopes of an entire city, it all hangs in the balance. And for Cleveland, a city that hadn't seen a major sports championship in 52 long, painful years, this isn't just a game, it's everything. The Golden State Warriors get a steal, they're on a fast break. It looks like an easy, uncontested layup for Andre Iguodala that's going to put them ahead for good. And then, out of nowhere, a figure just sprints the entire length of the court. In this impossible burst of speed and sheer will, LeBron James pins the ball against the backboard and what we now all know simply as the block. Now, the world saw an incredible, superhuman athletic feat. But here's the thing. What they were really witnessing was the result of a systematic, decade-long investment in himself. This was the moment the LeBron Framework was put on full display for the entire world. It wasn't just muscle, it was a mindset made real. So we just saw the jaw-dropping results of the framework with the block. But to really understand where it all came from, we can't start in the NBA. We have to go all the way back to his chaotic childhood in Akron. From there, we'll unpack the philosophy of reinvention that grew out of that chaos, look at the specific multi-million-dollar system he uses every single day, see his transformation from a phenom into a CEO athlete, and finally, we'll talk about how you can apply this code to your own life. To understand the man who made the block, you can't start in the NBA. No way. You have to go back to this kid from Akron, Ohio, growing up on the fringe of society, where pretty much the only constant in his life was change. Before he was ever King James, he was a boy whose foundation wasn't built on stability, but on the shifting sands of total uncertainty. Just think about this number for a second. In a single year, as a young boy, LeBron moved 7 times. 7 different beds, 7 different neighborhoods. When nothing around you is permanent, you're forced to find something permanent inside yourself. This constant upheaval wasn't just some footnote in his story, it was the forge that created his resilience. And that instability had real, serious consequences. In just the 4th grade, he missed almost 100 days of school. Why? Because his mother, Gloria, didn't have a reliable car to get him there. This wasn't a choice, it was his circumstance. And that's a crushing weight for any kid, right? That feeling that the world outside your control is already deciding your future for you. And this, right here, is the genesis of the entire framework. When your whole world is defined by what you cannot control, the address on the door, the car that won't start, the stability you crave, you become obsessed with what you can control. The chaos of his environment was the catalyst for building this internal fortress of extreme self-discipline. He couldn't control his circumstances, so he controlled his body, he controlled his drills, he controlled his focus. This is where he learned that true power isn't something that's given to you, it's something you build, rep by rep, in the face of uncertainty. So how does a childhood defined by chaos lead to a career defined by absolute control? Well, it builds into this incredibly powerful philosophy. See, that friction from his early life didn't just make him tough, it created a whole new way of thinking. He learned early on that relying on your natural talent was like building a house on sand. To truly last, you need something way more durable, something that doesn't fade with age. You need a strategy. Now, what's so fascinating about this idea is how active it is. This isn't just, passively evolving. Intelligent reinvention is a deliberate, almost aggressive strategy. It's the conscious decision to look at your current strengths and ask, is this going to be enough for the challenges of tomorrow, of next year, of the next decade? It requires the courage to tear down what's working perfectly today to build something that will win tomorrow. This quote, it perfectly captures the work ethic behind that whole philosophy. It's a complete rejection of complacency. It basically means you don't own your success, you're just renting it. And every single day, you have to wake up and do the work to pay that rent. Past achievements, they don't matter. Yesterday's wins don't count. Only the work you put in today earns you the right to be successful tomorrow. This mindset led to another core belief: empowered ownership. LeBron basically decided he was the CEO of LeBron James Incorporated, and this meant taking radical responsibility for every single aspect of his career. He was going to master the business of his own body and the logic of the game. He realized that if he controlled every input from his nutrition to his sleep to his skill development, the output would just take care of itself. And that ticking clock of an athletic career, it would have nothing to hold on to. So a powerful philosophy is one thing, right? But how do you actually make it real? How do you turn this abstract idea into daily, tangible results? Well, you build a system. An unwavering, documented, and frankly, shockingly expensive system. So here's the first pillar: biological investment. LeBron doesn't just work out. He runs a high-performance laboratory with his body as the main subject. This is a systematic approach to recovery. I mean, just imagine the shock of a liquid nitrogen cryochamber or the quiet hum of a hyperbaric chamber flooding your blood with oxygen. It's this relentless, almost obsessive focus on sleep as a performance weapon. It's all about systematically recharging the battery before it ever even gets close to zero. And here's what that investment looks like in dollars and cents. He reportedly spends over $1.5 million every single year on his body. Just let that sink in for a second. This isn't a luxury. For him, it's a core business expense. It's the clearest possible evidence that he sees his physical condition not as a gift, but as his single most important asset, and it requires constant and massive investment. Okay, so the second pillar of his system is the tactical skill pivot. He knew he couldn't just rely on his once-in-a-generation athleticism forever. So he very intelligently evolved his game in phases. In his early career, it was all about raw, explosive power. Then, as he hit his prime, he pivoted to become one of the most elite passers and playmakers the league has ever seen. And now, in this longevity phase, he's developed into a highly effective perimeter shooter, which means he's still a huge threat without having to constantly drive to the basket. And this right here explains exactly how he did it. This evolution wasn't an accident. It was the result of a deliberate habit: off-season auditing. While other players were on vacation, he was in the gym, methodically tearing down a part of his game, like his jump shot, and then rebuilding it from the ground up, specifically engineered for the next phase of his career. It's the ultimate form of intelligent reinvention in practice. So what's the long-term payoff of this entire framework? Well, it's a complete transformation of what it even means to be a professional athlete. He came into the league as the chosen one, right? A teenager on the cover of Sports Illustrated with a level of hype that would have absolutely crushed most people. That he completely rewrote the rules. I mean, look at this comparison. The old model saw an athlete's prime as this brief, fleeting moment, a short, violent flame that just burns out quickly. It viewed talent as this finite resource. The LeBron model just shatters that. It says that greatness isn't a moment, it's a sustained state of being. It treats longevity not as luck, but as a deliberate choice, a structural weapon that you can actually build. And so the ultimate legacy of the LeBron Framework is the complete destruction of the myth of the athletic prime. He proved that a 39-year-old can still be the most impactful player on the court. He became the blueprint for the modern athlete as CEO, an entrepreneur who institutionalized the whole idea of athlete empowerment and proved that a career doesn't have to end, it can just evolve. And that brings this story from his journey to ours. Because this framework, it isn't just for superstar athletes. It's a guide for anyone who feels like their prime is behind them or the time is their enemy. It's really a set of principles you can apply to your own career, your own skills, your own life. So let's break these down. First, longevity is a system, not a gift. This means you have to stop hoping you'll last and start building the habits that guarantee it. Second, you are a continuous project of reinvention. You are never a finished product. The version of you that succeeded yesterday might not be the one that succeeds tomorrow. Third, invest in your own evolution. Now that might not be $1.5 million, but it is a conscious decision to spend your time, energy, and resources on the skills you're going to need next. And finally, when you do all this, you stop being a victim of the clock. You become its master. You dictate the terms of your own timeline. So I want to leave you with this question. Think about your own career right now. What is that one skill you've been kind of coasting on? You know, the thing you're good at, the thing that's always worked for you. Now ask yourself, how can you begin the process of reinventing that skill? not for next month, but for the person you want to be a decade from now. What's your off-season audit? Because that, in the end, is the ultimate takeaway from the LeBron Framework. Longevity is a discipline that you practice every single day. And that disciplined, intelligent, and courageous act of reinvention, well, that is the code for your greatness.